What's your name and where are you watching from? Please let me know. Let me know. Please let me know where you're watching from. How are you doing? Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, thank you. Irene from London. Good evening, Irene. Nice to have you join us. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Who else is watching and where are you watching from? Okay. Where are you watching from, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know. Please do tell me where you're watching from. If you're in case you're just joining my live video for the first time, my name is Lara Kudaisi, and I'm a mind and strategy coach. I help female entrepreneurs, coaches, business owners reinvent their life, 10x their income, and live a fulfilling life without burnout. Okay, I am Sir Steve is watching from Lagos. Thank you so much. Tonight I'm talking about the reinvention formula. Who else joined us? Please tell me where you're watching from. Tell me where you're watching from. How's your day been? How have you been? How's your life going? How is everything? I can imagine. Okay, so today I'm talking about how to break limits and build a bigger and bolder life. A lot of people usually have issues with doing this. All of us know that all over the world now, all over, everywhere in the world, right now, there's a lot of chaos happening. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of, and especially because of the timing now, it looks like today is November 20th, for instance. The year is almost over. And this is when people panic. This is where people begin to check. Am I doing well? I've not reached my goals. I feel behind. I feel, am I supposed to be doing what I'm doing? This is that time of the year. I know what it feels like. This is that time of the year where people begin to question their goals. Have not achieved my goal. This has not happened for me. Am I behind? Am I late? Can I still achieve it this year? And these are normal human emotions. I need you to know this. These are absolutely normal human emotions, because a normal human being will have goals. You have plans, whether written or unwritten. You have plans of where you want to be by this time, by the end of this year, where you want to be at 30, where you want to be at 40, where you want to be at 50, and a lot of times it doesn't go as planned. I think I've gotten used to that by now because my life has always been a little bit of, twists and turns. And I want to specially speak to people this night that have been through some issues in life, maybe failures of some sort, maybe loss of identity, loss of money, financial loss, maybe, physical loss. You've lost somebody to death, maybe relationship loss, maybe a divorce, maybe a heartbreak, maybe you lost your job because that's the thing, or maybe your business has suffered loss. Maybe you've had to shut down your business. Some people, I have seen or heard news of people shutting down their businesses this year because they're not making money and it's not going as planned, as it feels. And this can make you feel behind. This can make you feel lost. This can make you feel, depressed. This can make you feel out of it. Like, are you sure I'm even supposed to be here? I've been through a lot of things in my life. And in case you're just following me, I hope you know my story. My story is that I healed from having a child at 19, 14 heartbreaks, 15 abortions, a divorce, I healed, poverty. But today, to God be the glory, I'm remarried, I have kids, I have a thriving business, and I'm doing well, But I know that I've had to go through a lot of reinventions to be able to get here today. I've had to go through a lot of redirecting my course. This is how I planned it, but this is not how it turned out. I've had to do something else when it was something else I planned. And so that is, if you're feeling this way, you are the person I'm doing the live video for tonight. You're the one I want to speak to from my heart. And I want to encourage you and be able to give you some tips or tools to use so that you can reinvent your life, so that you can break the limits you have currently, so that you can build a bigger and a bolder life. I know that when I was going through my own issues, when I was having heartbreaks upon heartbreak upon heartbreak, I didn't see the future. I didn't see where I am now. In fact, I remember doing a podcast or sharing my story on my new podcast. By the way, I have a new podcast called The Journey So Far. And I decided to be the first person to share my story on that podcast. So you can watch at the end of this video on YouTube, Dear Coach Lara on YouTube. I think I'm going to put the link in my bio, at the end of this video. And I was sharing in that podcast how just 8 years ago, I tried to kill myself. Just 8 years ago, you know. And thankfully, to God be the glory, I didn't go ahead with it. And 8 years after, look at what has happened. I am happier. I am doing better. I am remarried. I'm happier. I have grown up kids. My life is full. I have a job that I love, 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 love. Have built a business that I am obsessed with. I have great staff members that are working for me and with me. I have people that I'm helping. And this is my life. But 8 years ago, it looked bleak. It looked terrible. I gave up. I'm telling you, I mixed a concussion to take because I just wanted to die. I just couldn't see the future. I couldn't see forward. So I want to tell you, if you are in that shoes today, don't give up. It's going to get better, I swear. It always looks crazy when you are in it. When you are going through it, it always looks like there's no way out. It always looks like this is the end. You are finished. It cannot get better. You are going to drown in this. You're going to die in this. It always looks that way. But trust me, it is not true. Absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. And that's why I'm doing this live video specifically for you today. All you need is to reinvent your life, redirect, do new things, go in another direction, because the direction you are currently on is not working. The direction you are currently on is not serving you. That's why even sometimes there's times that I've taken up even in my business, this is what I want to start doing now. And then I start doing it and it's not profitable. It's not working. You have to reinvent. You don't give up. You don't throw in the towel. You don't just say, this is it. No, there's nothing like that. Nothing like that. So for you to be able to reinvent yourself, number one, you need to release, some things. Number one, release. I'm going to give you some R's, to be able to break limits and build a bigger and bolder life. Number one thing you need to do is to release. Release what? You need to detach from the identity that no longer serves your future. You need to detach from that identity that no longer serves your future. I recall when, I'd gone through my broken marriage, relocated to another state, I literally ran away from Lagos because I'm like, everybody knows me here. People who know what I'm doing. And in case you're just following my story, you don't know me before. At that time, I was a marriage counselor. I was a relationship coach. I was a matchmaker. I was basically talking about marriage. I'm preaching marriage, always talking about happily ever after, always sharing how, I went from pain, heartbreaks, and all of that. And today I'm remarried. I'm telling you. So imagine that kind of person. And I've built my brand also around that. You can imagine that that's one of the worst things that could ever happen to anyone. I built my brand around it. People pay me money just because, oh, she's been through this before, so she can help me achieve this kind of thing. I used to do programs. I used to call what I call Achieve Your Marriage Goal back then. I remember I did that in 2016. I used to do lots of programs, for single women, single men. I would match, single men and women. I was always preaching about the importance of marriage, the good things about marriage, how marriage was sweet. That was my preaching. That was I spoke in a lot of churches. I would go and speak in a church on a Sunday morning. That's what I was doing. I'm telling you. And you can imagine all of that went out the drain. So I thought that's going to be the end of my life. I moved to another city. I went to Abuja. I left Lagos, carried my two children, ran away to Lagos. I thought, okay, let me start a new life. Let me move forward. Let me just start afresh. But hey, my pain caught up with me. That's why I tell people it's not by relocation. It's not by running away from your problem. If you are not healing, you're not reinventing, you're not working on the issues, dealing with the issues, it's going to catch up with you anytime soon. So it's not about whether you are running away or anything. It's going to catch up with you absolutely soon. That was what happened to me. So I had to release. What do you need to do? You need to detach from the identity that no longer serves your future. So this is what people know me as. For instance, people knew me as the matchmaking mistress at the time. And I was always talking about, my slogan was, it is never too late to live happily ever after. So when I wanted to reinvent my life, I need to detach from that. I need to detach from that also, that mindset of, oh, I need to be married, people are talking about, I need to just detach from that identity. So your identity is the container of your destiny. If the container is too small, the destiny cannot unfold. You need to go bigger. I began to, when I was reinventing myself, I had to see beyond marriage. I had to see that this life is bigger than marriage. I didn't see that before. I had to become bigger. I had to stretch to realize that my life is bigger than marriage. Life itself is bigger than marriage and relationship. There's a lot more. So when you release, you need to release, limiting beliefs, all those beliefs that helps you think, oh, this is the end of my life. If this part of my life is not working, then I'm finished. I can never make it. Those are limiting beliefs. You need to reroute your beliefs. You need to change your beliefs. So release your limiting beliefs. That's number one. Number two, you need to release your old self-image. Your old self-image. This is how I used to see myself. Back then, I was like the marriage whisperer, the marriage fixer at the time. That was the image I had of myself and the image a lot of people had of me. I had to release that. You cannot be called or be seen as a marriage whisperer or marriage fixer when your own marriage has collapsed. So I had to let go of my old self-image that was also tied to marriage. Like, if I'm not married, I'm a finished woman. No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you need to release your old self-image, that image of, oh, this is who I am. And this is why it is difficult for a lot of people to restart, to reinvent themselves. They are still stuck in that old image. Probably you used to be rich, because I know a lot of people like that. Probably used to have a lot of money, so that's how you saw yourself. I'm this boss somewhere, but something has happened. You need to release that old image, old self-image, so that you can start afresh and start again. You need to release, another thing you need to release is that you need to release your stories of shame. I could recall back then I was always feeling ashamed. I always told myself, you see, people are laughing at you. You see yourself. Look at what you did to yourself. Look at what you did to your children. You use your hand to spoil your life. That's what I used to tell myself back then. At least you could have just been enduring in that marriage. No, but after all, nobody seemed to be happy. Those were the things I used to tell myself because that's what I was hearing from a lot of people. Ah, Lara, why would you leave? All of us, you think we're happy? You think we're So I had these stories of shame. So if you want to move forward, you need to release it. You need to release that stories of shame. Those are those stories that you tell yourself. You need to release them. You need to stop telling yourself, "Oh, look at it. I tried to look at what you have done, but it didn't work. You didn't sell. You didn't." No, 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 no. You need to release the story. So those were the things that I released. Then you need to release people that drain you. I cannot tell you this enough. It's one of the things I had to do, like, in this my life, especially this my reinvention, my transition. There are some people who drain you. I'm telling you, they take a lot from you. You love them, they are good people, but they are very draining. You need to release them. They could even be your family members. Reduce the amount of communication you have with people like that. You need to learn how to release, the people who drain you. You need to release the environment that shrink you. There are some environments that you have outgrown. There are some environments that you have outgrown. You are bigger than that now. That's no longer where you play. You are bigger than that tough. You're bigger than those environments. So you've outgrown those environments. You need to release it. What I've realized is that a lot of people are afraid to leave their comfort zone. People are afraid to leave the familiar. And if you don't leave the familiar, you cannot grow. If you don't leave the familiar, you cannot reinvent yourself. If you don't leave your environment, that environment that is shrinking you, that environment that you are bigger than now, because there was a point in time that environment suits you, it was good for you, it helped you, it nurtured you. But there are times when you have outgrown that environment, it is shrinking you now. You need to leave. You need to leave. If you don't leave, you will continue to be, it's going to shrink you and choke you to death. And sometimes it's not physical death, it's mental, it's emotional. So you need to release the environment that shrink you. Then you need to release the version of yourself that were built in survival mode. Oh my God. So one of the things that I used to do back then, because I was unhappy, I was I always felt like people were judging me. I was very cranky. Oh God, I used to be very cranky. I was very cranky. I was quick to temper. I was aggressive. I was ready to give it to you. If you give me bars, I'm giving you bows. I realized that I built that image for survival. I built it for self-defense because I've been through a lot of pain. I've been through a lot of shame. I've been through a lot of stress. So naturally, I had to build, a shield for protection. So the first point of call, if you do anyhow, you collect anyhow, you get anyhow. That was what I built. So if you want to now reinvent yourself, you want to start doing something new, you want to live a better life, you cannot, you have to let go of that identity that you built for survival. You have to. Some of you built, this identity of somebody who plays safe financially, because you grew up from poverty. So because of that, you save a lot, you cut your budget, you are even stingy to yourself. You don't spend money, you don't. There are people like that. There are people like that. If you want to reinvent yourself, that old image has to die. That old image has to die. That version of you has to die for you to be able to enter a new version. It has to die. It's got to go. You get what I mean? So most people stay stuck because they are loyal to an outdated identity. That identity of being aggressive, being, quick on my feet to give you a response, it no longer serves me. I realized later that nobody was after you. Nobody cared about me. I was just living in self-defense by myself, always thinking people are after me. Nobody cared about me. Nobody thought about me. You understand? So I had to relax and let go that behavior. I had to start embracing afresh that people, if you allow yourself, you'll see that people love you. People are good. Instead of always thinking this person is bad, that person is bad, you're always be living a suspicious life. Why? Because you grew up around people who want to hurt you. So because of that, you've believed that everybody will hurt you. It's not true. You need to let go, um, of that old identity, the outdated identity. And reinvention starts when you say, "This is not who I am anymore." And you give yourself the permission to expand. This is not who I am anymore. And then you give yourself the permission to expand. And when I'm talking about reinvention, sometimes it's even your business. You just need to move from this small minded business owner to a big time business owner. You have to release the old identity of somebody who is always counting penny, who is always cutting costs every minute, because you are so afraid of being broke in your life. You have to release all of that. You have to release all of that. Very, very important. So, one point for you to live, for you to reinvent yourself is to release the old, release your old self image, release your old identity, release the stories of shame that you keep telling yourself all the time. You need to release all of that. You need to release people who drain you. You need to release environments that shrink you. All right. Then, number two is reframe. What is reframe? You need to learn how to reinterpret what has happened to you. So you rewrite how you interpret your past. That's what reframe means, like reinterpreting what has happened. You need to rewrite how you interpret your past, your pain, and your potential. Let me tell you something. You know, I've shared my story for like forever now, for 13 years. Karen Sampson says this is a very serious mental work. Yes, it is. But if you leave that, if you can do the serious mental work, the next 40, 50 years of your life will thank you for it. That's it. The next 40, 50 years of your life will thank you for it. That was the serious mental work I had to do for myself so that I can live a happier life. So, but if you're not willing to do that serious work, you continue to live the same life, same story over and over again, and you'll be depressed, you'll be sad. That's what happens to people. And they wake up at age 50 and they're like, how did I get here? I'm not happy. This is not the life I want. How do I move forward? That's what people do, because they don't sit down, to do the serious mental work. So, reinvention does not happen outside of you. It happens inside your mind first. That's where it starts from. It needs to start from your mind. What kind of life am I living? Do I like this current life? Do I like how people see me? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. Do I like, people have this impression of me? That's why you have to take accountability. Do I like it? Do I like myself? Do I like this version of my life? Then if I don't, what do I do next? So it needs to happen inside you first. Your thoughts become your direction. So if you are always criticizing yourself also, that's what you're going to have. Your beliefs become your boundaries. If you believe that this is how it must be done, I cannot go beyond this. Trust me, you can never go beyond that. Never ever. You can never go beyond that. If you believe that this is the reason why my life is like this, the devil is always after me from the generational patterns in our family, in my father's side, in my mother's side, this is what usually happens. Trust me, you will never, that will continue to be your story. That will continue to be your story. If you especially if you're a Christian, I always tell Christian, somebody told me, and he said, Coach, do you know that most pastors worship the devil? I'm like, what do you mean by that? He said that because when you glorify the devil's work, you praise the devil more than God or Jesus, then you are worshiping the devil. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, because every time they're always the devil. Yeah, let's pray against the devil. Let's cancel the devil's work. Every time is the devil. You are worshiping the devil. They are more conscious of the devil's work more than the finished work of Christ. They are more conscious of the negative. This is a demonic attack. This is a devil saying something. This is the hand of the devil. This is, you understand? It's your belief system, and you will never rise beyond that. You will never ever rise beyond that. Your belief systems need to expand. It needs work. So if you think the reason why my life is like this is because of my father's side, is because of my mother's side, is because of, my father did not give me what I want, my father died early, my mother left my father because I grew up in a broken home. If that is the story you keep telling yourself, that is going to be your reality. That's going to be your reality. So your beliefs will become your boundaries. If you think, this is my business, people won't buy it. It's not food, though. It's not this thing. So I have to give a lot of discounts. I have to be able to reduce money. I have to be able to do this. I have to be able to do that. Because that's exactly what you are going to have. Your beliefs are your boundaries. Your beliefs are your boundaries. You need to know this. This is something that I've had to learn. I remember back then, a friend of mine, concerned friend, he saw me, and maybe I can't remember if I'd shared that, I had gone through a divorce or something. I don't know. The next thing is like, Ara, have you prayed? There has to be a spiritual pattern. There has to be. Thankfully, I am learned spiritually. I'm like, there's no spiritual pattern anyway. Me, I know, don't worry. There's a pattern, but I know where the pattern is coming from. It doesn't have anything to do with spiritual. Because when we are, especially Christians, we spiritualize everything. And that's the reason why we keep getting more attacks. That's the reason why we don't go. Unbelievers, when things happen to them, they don't blame anybody. They look for, what's the problem here? How do I go forward? What can I do? This thing, there's always a way. There's always a way. You need to have in mind that there's always a way. If you are very close-minded, this is the end. This cannot go beyond this. There's no way this will move forward. You will be trapped in that life. You will be trapped in that life. That is the life you are going to have. That is the life you're going to have. And you can't afford that. So you need to be careful of your thoughts when you want to reinvent your life. Your inner conversations are very important. So all those things you are telling yourself, you can't move forward. Especially, let me talk to people that have been divorced before in the past. You have to manage this guy, or people that are single moms. I remember that was what I used to tell myself before I got married the first time. Lara, you already have a child. You have to compromise. You are not like other girls. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Because it's your inner conversation that destroys everything outwardly. You're already reducing yourself internally. You have a business. With this economy in Nigeria, how many people are buying this? How many people are going for this? Meanwhile, in this same Nigeria, as tough as it may look, some people are making a lot of money. Yes, that's self-sabotage. Some people are making a lot of money. Some people are buying houses. Some people are building houses. Some people are buying exotic cars, and they are not criminals. You need to know this. Because some people, that's the fastest thing. They just dismiss it. Those people, it's either they are government people stealing money, or it's not true. It's not true. There are some people that are going through what you are going through, like you, but they are prospering. Why? Because of their beliefs, because of their inner conversation. They're not caging themselves with their beliefs. They're not stressing themselves with their beliefs. They're not self-sabotaging. They're not telling themselves it's not possible. This thing that you are aiming for, you are aiming for too much. You're asking for too much. This is unrealistic. They're not telling themselves that. This is delusion. Now you better sit down and face forward and just eat what you can find. Or that's not how they are. That's not how they are. So reframing the conversation or your life story, it means asking yourself, what if nothing was wasted? I tell people this all the time. Today, now, look at the way I'm sharing my story. I healed from having a child at 19. That's reframing. Instead of, I went through this, then because of that, my life became like this. No, I reframed it. I saw it as, something, an asset to be used to help other people move forward. And that's what I've served me. That's what have helped me in life. I'm telling you. So, what if nothing was wasted? What if that pain that you went through was not wasted? What if that business loss that you went through was not wasted? What if it was to teach you? I remember I've lost a business before. Oh God of Nazareth. I have actually had four failed businesses, but this one was the most painful one. It was my marketing company, marketing and media company. It was, you know, I felt cool. I was the CEO. I was, if you see, what I liked most about but that time, I didn't have a car, but if you see my dressing, oh Jesus. If you see, I used to wear cute dresses. I was not now that somebody has become bigger, you have big tummy. No. Back then I was slim, I was curvy. Like I wore only dresses, slim fitted dresses that bring out my curve. You know those powerhouses dresses. That's what I used to wear. It was my signature then. Dress. I don't wear suits, I don't wear trouser. Not because I don't wear trousers, but just for work. I just liked wearing beautiful dresses and heels, 4 inches, 5 inches heel. That's what I used to wear back then. It's not. It was after I had my second child that I can't wear heels for too long again. But back then, I used to wear heels. So like my hair was always on fleek. I would go to the office in the morning. My office was I think it was the first floor. Everybody in the building knew me. There was a bank on the ground floor. So they always, hello, madam, hello, I had staff, I had clients come to the office. I was feeling accomplished. I was feeling fulfilled. Then all of a sudden, pew, I lost that company. Everything came crashing down. Yes, there were, and I remember I was depressed for about a month. I couldn't go out of my house. I couldn't. I just felt like a failure. I felt like I was finished. I felt like you are finished. Nothing else. What can you ever do again in your life? You know? But look at me today. I realized that pain was not wasted. That loss was not wasted. Do you know how I'm reframing it today? I'm using that loss, all the mistakes I made in that company. I'm not making them in this new company. I actually have a product now, the exclusive business partnership, that is like what I was doing back then. But now, because I did it wrongly back then, now I am more guarded. Now I'm more knowledgeable about it. Now I know that there are potential, pitfalls in front. If you don't do it properly, if you don't fortify yourself, if you don't do all the things you're supposed to do, it's going to end up like that other one back then. So you need to ask yourself the question: what if your pain was not wasted? What if nothing was wasted? Nothing is wasted, actually. If you know how to rechannel it, if you know how to repurpose it, nothing is wasted. No matter what you have been through in your life. Someone says, okay, Carrie says, reframing your conversations, being grateful for the mistakes and learning from them and growing. Absolutely, nothing is a waste. Nothing is a waste. Trust me, nothing is a waste. So that business failure serves me today. It serves me today. I'm using it. The experiences I learned back then, I'm using it today. I've grown because of that failure. Nothing is a waste. Nothing is a waste. Stop thinking behind. Stop looking, oh, I've lost time. Oh, because that's what people say. Yes, a great perspective. Thank you. That's what people say. I've lost time. He wasted my time. She wasted. If I knew that this is where my life would, be, I would not have gone through that route. I would just come here straight. No. You are rebuilding now from experience. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. All those things that you went through, they are the ones that have built you today. Now you're going to do things better today because those things have strengthened you. Another thing that I realize now, that all the pain I've been through, the business failures, the heartbreaks, and everything I've been through in life, do you know what it does for me now? I realize now that my recovery rate from disappointments is 10 minutes. I'm telling you. Now, and something happened, something very bad happened to me recently. And Everybody around me was panicking. They were upset. They were sad. And I realized that, yes, it was sad. It was hurtful. It was painful. But I was just like, where do we go from here? So what do we do? How do we solve this? And I realized that I didn't have so much pain like I would have had in the past. And you know what happened? What I realized was that because I've been through so many pain, I swear, that to me looked like, well, thank God, it's not bigger, it's not more than this. That was what came to my mind. Thank God it's not more than this. Thank God. Because all the stress I have been through, all the disappointments, all the losses, they have built me. They have made me tough. They have fortified me. So now pain is no longer something that throws me completely off balance. Never. My recovery rate, I don't care what it is 10 minutes. I'm telling you. And in this last if I'm not 3K, in the last 6 months, I've been through a lot. Hey, like a lot. Like a lot. You don't want to know. But we are testing it. What I've been through in the last 6 months, if it was maybe not five, if it was like 10 years ago, 9 years ago, I would have crumbled. I would have, taken time off, just shut down everywhere and just go and be like, please, I'm off for now. I'm going inside for self-care. But I don't feel that way anymore. Why? Because nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. Good night, love. Nothing is wasted. So that pain, those losses, that I perceive as losses, they have built me today. They have shaped me today. They have rearranged me today. They have given me enough shock absorber against pain or loss or disappointment. So nothing is a waste. Ask yourself, what if nothing was wasted? Instead of, because that's what people say all the time. That's why you don't move forward. I wasted my time. They wasted my time. She wasted my time. If I if I had known, don't do that. Don't ever do that. All those things they were not a waste. I'm telling you, they all led you to where you are now. Absolutely. They all led you to where you are now, today. So the next question is, what if my pain is training? Yeah, ask yourself, what if my pain is training me? Yes, because I just explained to you now, my own pain trained me. My own losses trained me. It made me, now I'm 42 years old, but I act like I'm 62. I'm telling you, I don't feel 42 because the stress I've been through in my life, the things I deal with now, 42-year-olds don't deal with it. It's for people in their late 50s and early 60s. I'm telling you. So, but how do I go through it and I don't break? Because of training. My pain has trained me. Now I see people break under small pressure and I'm looking like, be calming down. You understand? I understand you are, yes, but you need to calm down. Yes, Mr. Ufo, what if my pain is training me? You need to ask yourself, what if my pain is training me? Instead of always complaining, hey, look at it, look at what I'm going through. Nigeria, see me, oh, that's the video now. Are you guys seeing videos now of, it's like, there's always a family people now, is Instagram, they come and settle their family issues. That's what I'm observing. Like, is that what we are doing now? When we have issues in our family against our husbands or exes or our ex-wives or brothers or parents, we come on Instagram and come and warn them and come and tell and address them. That's what people are going through now. That's what people are doing right now. Anyway, I digress. So ask yourself, what if my pain is training? What if you're being trained? And then the next question is, what if the delay was divine protection? This one is so true. This one is absolutely true. Let me tell you, when you are going through a delay, it would not make sense to you at that time. You will keep thinking, doesn't make sense. Everybody has it except me. Why do I have to struggle? Why is my life like this? Who is doing me? Why is everything scattering? Why don't I have all of these things? That's how it always is. But it is when you have that thing, then you realize that, hey, that delay was a blessing. People who have gotten married, maybe people who waited a while before they got married, they always tell me this thing, that Lara, I am so grateful that I didn't get married then. I would have left. At that time, I wasn't mature enough. At that time, there was no way I could have handled this. I'm telling you. I remember when I was dating my husband. Now, I when I met him, I was how old was I? Was 36. He was 46. So naturally, we were ready to marry. We liked each other. We already knew we were going to marry each other. So I already, and then when I met him, he told me, "Oh, I'm ready to get married very soon." And I remember asking, I still had this conversation with him on Sunday. I said, I remember asking him then, like, I didn't even know I was going to be his wife. I was just asking him, when you just meet somebody, when do you plan to get married and all of that? And he's like, next year. That we met in December that year. So we're having a conversation, and I'm like, when do you want to get married? And he's like, next year. And I was surprised. I'm like, have you met the person you will marry? Or he said no, but that it just feels like you can meet people in 4 months and get married. You can meet people in 6 months and get married. So as I heard that, and then he started asking me how out, and then we started dating. So I already had that in my head. I already had it in my head that, this guy, because he's ready, he's old enough, he's ready. Me too, I'm ready. And he still wants to have more kids. I still want to have more kids. So I just assumed that, 6 months, maximum 1 year, we'll get married. Hey, it did not happen. No. This guy that came after me, at the time with some momentum, after a while, started withdrawing. And I'm like, boy, it's blown. What's wrong with this guy? I'm telling you, I was so upset. I even broke up with him at some point because I was hounding him. What are we waiting for? And thankfully, it was COVID year. So I'm like, we don't even need to do an elaborate wedding. We don't need to call anybody. There's COVID, everybody knows. But you have 20 people, you get married. So what are you delaying for? What are you? And he will just come up with different excuses. We still need to get to know each other. I be in conscious. I be conscious, boy. And I was so upset. I started hounding him. I started stressing him. I would break up with him, come back again. In fact, there was one time I just said, this guy is not ready, and I'm not ready for this nonsense bullshit. And I left him. And then I was like, maybe he's not the one. Nonsense. And I wanted to get back like I would normally do. And he told me no. I went back to him like, okay, I think I made a mistake. He said, no, I think it's important. We need to break up. And then he now broke up with me. And then I just got angry that nonsense. Carry yourself and go. All rubbish. I'm a fine girl. I will always get another guy. And I actually got another guy. In fact, it was not just one guy. I dated two guys before he came back, and then but what am I trying to say? It took us 3 years. It is now that I'm married to him that I am grateful that it took that long. Do you know why? Because in those 3 years, I learned resilience. My first marriage, I'm not proud to admit it. Yes, the guy was at fault. I don't like, I'm one of those people that don't like when I'm sharing a story that involves two people, I don't like to blame the other party because they're not here to defend themselves. So I always say my own side. My marriage, my first marriage, there was a lot of issues. The guy had a lot of faults, but I will not lie to you. I just got tired and got out of it. I was so impatient. I was so like nonsense and ingredients. Do you understand? So I had to learn how to be patient. I had to learn resilience. I'm telling you, and it's helping now in this my marriage. Because it was in that 3-year relationship that I learned that you don't just, because somebody annoys you, or because you are not happy, or because things are not happening properly, you don't just opt and out. No, that was my style in the past. If you stress me, I'm out. Oh, are you okay? Well, what's your father's name? Who born you? Where did you come from? I don't have time. I'm telling you, you know. So, but in that 3-year relationship with my husband, I learned how to be more resilient. I learned how to persevere. How to, that scripture in the Bible that says, Genesis, that's fruit of the spirit, long suffering. How to self control. I learned a lot. Because eventually, when we came back together and all of that, I had to learn that, see, this guy is not like every other guy you've been with. This guy is very different. He's a good guy, but he's just weird. He's a weird good guy. I always tell him all the time. So if you want to be with somebody like this, you cannot carry your old behavior and marry this kind of man. That's what I learned. You cannot be your I'm out kind of person. You won't be able to stay long in a marriage this way. You will have a second divorce. I am telling you. So it is now that I am grateful that it took us 3 years, because it's that 3 years grounded me. I used to believe that how can anybody date for 3 years? It's nonsense. What if you are not how old look at how old we were. So when we got married, we were 39 and 49. It took us 3 years to blend. Why? Because I'm an alpha female, is an alpha male. I'm not a child. You understand? I'm a big girl. He's a big boy. So it took us a while to blend all of that. If we didn't blend all of that before marriage, trust me, I would have been out. I would have been out. And then it helped me to grind and learn, I became more grounded in those periods. I built my femininity. I'm telling you, in that period. So that is how I understood that delay was divine protection. So what if your delay is divine protection? I also remember talking about my business loss too. When I was in my business, that business I was telling you about, I was making money, and I used to spend like mad. Like I didn't know how to keep money, save money, or retain money. I'm just, let's buy everything. Do you understand? So, but now that I am now, older, in a better, I understood that that money you had to run away, because if I hit millions, hundreds of millions, in that state, the money would have finished in 3 months. So a lot of times, delay is divine protection. I'm telling you, a lot of times. So you need to start seeing your delay like that. What if that delay was divine protection? That's how to reframe your story. That's how to reframe your situation. What if rejection was redirection? This one. Hey, I told you guys that I tried to take my life 8 years ago, December 2017. Why? Because a relationship had gone bad. And I'm like, this is it. I can't take it anymore. I'm off. I'm out. And this person, didn't want me. They rejected me. And I was like, out, done, finished. I didn't think that I could recover from that. But I didn't believe that I would ever, I thought that person, because that person, let me give you gist, guys. That person, I'm a therapist, I'm a relationship coach, I have all this knowledge. That person was doing this, my job. He's a therapist. He's a mentor, somebody I looked up to. Somebody that I saw myself and him, like we're going to be a power couple. We used to do programs together. We used to do events together. It used to be packed. It used to be banger. I'm telling you, our our collaboration then, so don't understand. Our collaboration was magic. Everybody knew it. People used to say it. We had such good chemistry. I'm telling you, when we planned a project together, build it together, bam. So I felt like this was the best. He's all I want in a man. He had money, he had sense, he had therapy mind. He's emotionally intelligent. He's a leader, somebody that could lead me, somebody that I could look up to. And then after a while, he said, "I don't see us together." I wanted to die because I felt I can't, first of all, I can never love anybody like this anymore in my life. I can't. One. Two, I can never find somebody else that will love me this much. Two. Three, I can, I don't even, I used to think that there's no way I can ever love anybody again. It's not possible. Like, this is the limit. But look at me here, 2025, always loving up on my husband. Why? I am grateful today because now I still know this person. We're in the same space. And I'm like, I see, I'm like, how? What did I see in this one person? Why? What did I see? Like, why did I want to marry him? There was no way we would have worked. So now I understand that rejection was redirection. God knew. God saw the future. He knew that you just kill yourself. This thing cannot work. This is not your person. Sometimes that job that you lost, that's what it means. The business you lost is redirection. I'm telling you, that thing that was supposed to be, is redirection. It's not rejection. You understand? So that's how to reframe your life. That's how to reframe your story. Look at me now. That was how I was able to move forward. After that incident, that was when I knew that I need to do something because I now realized that my life, I don't really think I'm okay. Because the next one, if I go through another heartbreak, I don't know if I can pour the poison away. So that was when I knew that something is wrong with you, Lara. You really have to seek help and do something about it. That was when my life changed. First of all, I stayed off men for like 3 years. You anything man related to man hasn't to do with man, I don't want to see you. Just you people find somewhere and pack. Let me go and recalibrate. Let me go and rebuild. Let me go and rethink. I'm telling you. And that was what changed my life. So ask yourself, what if rejection was redirection? What if, another question, what if everything I have survived was preparing me for this next chapter? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, in my marriage today, my husband says it, and me too, I know it. I'm not like the typical wife. I don't fight about the typical things that wives fight about. Do you know why? Because I've been through so much. I understand men more now. I'm more emotionally intelligent now. When somebody is my husband is upset, I don't look at the surface, look at the way he's looking at me. I'm looking at I'm thinking that what if it doesn't mean that? What if there are a series of events that led here? What if this, behavior or attitude is not even about you? I'm telling you, and I was never like that before. And what did that do? Because everything I survived has prepared me for this next chapter. Even my office now, my business now. Now we're going through, sometimes go through a lot of shitty stuff. I don't fall down and get depressed. I don't say, I don't want to come to work. Oh, I don't say, I beg, let me just shut down this business. No. Why? Because all the things I have been through in the past, all the things I have survived, they have prepared me for where I am now. So that's how you need to start reframing your story. What if everything you have survived was preparing you, for this next chapter? If you can have this perspective shift, you've gotten your power back. You've gotten your power back. The moment you can have this perspective shift, trust me, you have gotten your power back. So we've talked about release, we've talked about reframe. Let's talk about, do I have time to take all of this? I'm just going to be fast about it because I have 3 more. Let's talk about reclaim. Take back the part of your life that pain, disappointment, loss, trauma, fear muted. Take back that part of your life. This is the step that a lot of people forget. Reinvention is not only about becoming someone new, it's also about recovering the parts of you that your life buried, like your voice, like your confidence. I remember this. I remember when I went through my own divorce then when I started healing, I started reframing my life. I just told myself, what if this is another chance for me to start again? What if this is another chance for me to go through my dreams? Then I started remembering my dream from childhood. I remember that as a child, all I dreamt about was to be on TV. That was it. Oh. Yes, in the beginning you say I want to be a doctor, but by the time I eat like JSS3 and I failed integrated science, I knew the doctor to jam. There was no way that was going to happen. But the next dream I dreamt was TV. I wanted to be on TV. But of course, life did not allow me to pursue all of that, because I had a child at 19. I had to fend for my child. There was, I had to do a lot of things. I had to study something else I didn't like in school and all of that. So it was after I went through that, my broken marriage, and I'm like, what if this TV thing, what if I go into it again? I was already a therapist. I was already a coach at that time. Do you know what I did? Instead of now going to do audition, because I remember there was a time I was auditioning everywhere, reading FM, Silver Bed, going, City FM, all of those things. So I told myself, now I have a career that I built that I like. So why don't I make a TV out of it? Then I created the show, How They Healed. It was a TV show when I started it. It was on DSTV, African Magic Family. And I was one that, I was the executive producer and I was also the presenter. That was something that gave me a lot of fulfillment. That was something that made me so happy. That was something that gave me a lot of joy. That was something that, made me have a spring under my step. I stopped looking backward because I started seeing all the opportunities in front of me, how I could make it bigger, how this thing can go far, how we can do this, how we can do that. So reclaim that part of your life that problem or that loss claimed. Maybe your voice. Maybe when you were in that job, in that office as an employee, they took your voice. You cannot complain. They will threaten to sack you. You were very oppressed. But now that you are out of it, now that they've chased you away, then you can reclaim your voice. You can reclaim your confidence. You can reclaim your dreams. You can dream again. You can start again. You can reclaim your worth. You can reclaim your standards. You can reclaim your power. You can reclaim your creativity. You can reclaim your hunger. I'm telling you, my life started all over again after my divorce. I'm telling you, the trajectory that I have hit after my divorce, I'm not saying divorce is a good thing. No. Divorce is not a good thing. No. It will first of all break you, scatter you into pieces, until you now say, no, I'm not going out like this. Then you can build something better. So I'm not glorifying divorce at all, at all, at all. Please don't divorce. It's a very terrible experience. So, but what am I saying? I decided that I was going to reclaim my life. So all the dreams, all the forgotten dreams that I have thrown away, I started reclaiming them. My TV dream, my celebrity, because I used to like, meeting a lot of celebrities. Now I have a lot of them on my number, on my phone. Do you understand? All those things. I remember going for a lot of awards, a lot of all the things I had wanted to do in the past that I couldn't do because a lot of things were happening. I started going for shows. I started going for awards. I started going for red carpets. By the way, I love going for red carpets. I'm busy again. I'm not going for anyone in a while. So reclaiming is powerful because it reminds you that you were never broken. You were simply buried. So, that saying that says, they buried us. They did not know we were seeds. So come out of where they are buried, you grow out of it. All right. So when you rise with everything you lost, plus everything you've gained. That's it. So the next step, because I want to be fast now, is reveal. Step into the identity of the woman you are becoming, or the man. Reveal. Let me say man, because somebody accused me. One of my former clients is a guy. He just bust me out to this evening. You did not wish me happy International Men's Day. I did not see your post on your page. I did not, why you have forgotten men? Why you like, I was like, hey, I'm sorry, oh. So he said, "Ah, you have abandoned us. Now everything you talk about is woman, woman, woman." I'm like, my brother, I did not abandon you. So let me mention men too, you know. So steps into the identity of the woman or the man that you are becoming. Reveal it. You don't just say, I'm building, I'm building, I'm building. Every time I'm building capacity. When will you show that capacity? Remember, I went to build that TV show, but I revealed it, I released it. I started sending a lot of celebrities then, graced my show. I didn't know anybody from anywhere. It was just DM. I've always been like that. You know, ah, Highest you will tell me is no. There were a lot of people that said no, or some people did not even answer. Some people did not read it. Some people read it, didn't answer. But I didn't care. But a lot of people still responded positively to it. So this is the stage where the transformation becomes visible. You need to make it visible. You are not supposed to transform and then hide yourself. No, the transformation has to be visible. You begin to act, begin to speak, begin to think, and show up like the future version of yourself. That was what I did. I started doing things like, I mean, serious, take me seriously, oh, guys. Even though I had not reached the potential of where I was going, but I started behaving like it. I started dressing like it. I changed my dressing. I took, a lot of care. I took more care and paid more attention to my skincare. I was glow. Hey, I remember also I started, going to the gym. Ah, I'm seeing those my gyms video. I saw them today and I'm like, Lara, what happened to your life? But don't worry, next year. Next year we're back, So you have to show up as the future version of yourself. Even if it has not shown up, dress that way, speak that way. Carry yourself like that. Stop being around losers. People that you know that every time they're always complaining about how bad their life is. Stay away from them. Go and mix with people that you want to be like. If you don't have the opportunity to mix with them yet, follow them. Binge on their pages. I do that a lot. There are people that I like. I just admire them. I know that right now I'm not yet in that level where I can associate with them. I go on their page, I watch their videos, I just admire them, I learn from them. Those are the things you need to do instead of no, we're not in their league. Hey, me that I'm still a leg of these beds. I will now go and meet someone. Don't do that. Show up like that has already happened. So revealing means showing up boldly. You need to show up boldly. Stop shrinking. Stop thinking they're talking about me. Look at it. Somebody comment something. It's me they are talking about. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Say no without guilt. That's the new version of you. Before you used to be a people pleaser. Now you are no longer that person. So say no. Make decisions that match your future. Not your fears. Not hey, no. Make decisions that match your future, not your fears. Be consistent with your growth. Keep growing. That's another thing I did after my broken marriage, my business loss. I have always been a voracious learner. But then I now started going for more programs, more master classes, more healing programs, more my anything that has to do with the mind. You see me there. I got a lot of qualifications. Then I got so obsessed. That was where I got the idea from. Watching videos on YouTube. If you ask me what is my best app, that if they measure my presence on that app, because that's where I learned a lot from. There are so many people tell me, oh, Lara, you have a lot of wisdom. You're so deep. Yes, my experiences, my training, but my learnings are the biggest for me. I have learned a lot of, on YouTube videos that I'm always watching because I want to be better. So you have to make decisions that match your future. You have to be consistent with your growth. That is not the time to shrink and say how much all these coaches they're charging you money, they're charging you money anyhow. Just be calling money anyhow. Joko sibe. You better go out, go for those programs, go and learn, go and add to your kitty. You understand? Embrace discomfort. That's another thing. People like their comfort zone, especially women. No, I don't like it. So I don't like to wake up early in the morning. I don't like to go to this kind of place. I don't like driving to the island. I don't like. If the island is where your orire is, why am I speaking to a lot of Yoruba tonight? If the island is where your what's orire? You people give me word though. What's Oriri? Where your success, I think, is. You better endure. Endure the discomfort. Because you know they say it. A lot of times, the reason why you have not grown is because you have sat down on the familiar. You are too used to the familiar. You don't want to, embrace discomfort or anything uncomfortable. That's why you have not grown. That's why you have not gotten all the things you want. All right. So it means moving even when you are scared. So I've talked about I've done four. I've talked about release, I've talked about reframe, I've talked about reclaim, and I've talked about reveal. The last one is rebuild. You now need to rebuild. Take strategic, courageous steps toward your bigger and bolder life. Take strategic, courageous steps towards your bigger and bolder life. Rebuilding is not about having big resources, it's about taking small but powerful steps. This is where your goal setting comes in, and not just goal setting. You now start taking actions towards your goal setting. Okay, so I want to start earning $1 million a month. What do I need to do? I need to be in powerful rooms. I need to learn more. Start taking it. I need to 10 times my prices. Start from there. You don't have it yet, but start from there. Start from there now. Start from there. That's what rebuilding means. You need to start. You need to move forward. Don't just stay and be waiting for it to happen. One day it will happen. It's not going to happen. You are the one that will make it happen. So rebuilding looks like launching that business. You have to launch it now. Hey, this is not a good time to launch a business. So the economy, the kinikon, is never going to be a good time. There's never going to be a right time. So rebuilding looks like launching that business, fixing your finances. Yes, I remember there was a time like that. It was crazy for me. My finances were a mess. I was in a lot of debt. you know I had to rebuild that. I had to restructure, give people different dates. Then I started paying them gradually till I was off. Do you understand? So fix your finances. That's what rebuilding means. If your job is, you're not getting enough money, how can I start making more money? How can I start earning more money? What can I do? How many more jobs can I take on? What side hustle can I get? How do I make my business increase my revenue? How do I increase my? Those are the things. That's what it means. That's what rebuilding means. Rebuilding also means healing emotionally. Heal. Oh, hey, you people, if you don't heal, the pain that you will go through. Okay. So then learning new skills. Learn new skills. That's all some of the things I did. This time last year, there are some skills I did not know as regards business. But this year, I have had to learn them by fire, by force. This is you. Learn new skills. Pay to be in rooms of people that you want to be like. That's also what I did this year, from last year actually. You pay big money. Yes, it's a lot of money, but you pay it. Pay it to be in rooms, that will mature you, that will grow you, that will force you to grow. So learn new skills, create new standards, build new relationships. This year I reconnected with some of the old people I knew, and I met with some new people too. People that I didn't know in the past. I met with a lot of people this year. I think one of my greatest blessing this year was forming a mastermind group with one of my uh, friends that are powerful in the business industry. I love it because when we meet, or even when we don't meet, and we have a WhatsApp group, like the things we share, powerful nuggets. We watch out for each other, look out for each other, and we support each other. So, like, that's another thing that has helped me a lot this year. So, build new relationships. And then there are people that I didn't know at all last year, that I met them this year, and they have added a lot of joy and value to my life. That's what rebuilding means. Don't sit on your ass and start suspecting everybody. What does this person want from me? The way this person is nice like this. Hey, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Look at the way they looked at me. Are you sure it's not because of? Stop all of that. Step up, step forward, and stop playing small. All right. Build new relationships. Say yes to opportunities. Yes, There are opportunities I've said yes to this year that I was like, hey, how am I going to do it? But I did it anyway. So say yes to opportunities, leave toxic environment. Yoruba will say aboro answer for moluabi. So for some of you, the toxic environment is your job. It's toxic for you. Leave. Oh, leave. Leave the toxic environment. For some of you, it's abusive relationships. Leave those environments. For some of you, it's, you know, maybe your living area. Leave. All right. Choose growth over fear. Always choose growth over fear. Rebuilding is where your future becomes visible. So this is I hope this has helped you this night, because these were the things that I did when I went through my broken period, heartbreaks, divorce, business loss, money loss, identity loss. These were the things I did. And today I'm happier for it. I am blessed for it. I am more stable because of all of that. So reinvention is a series of tiny, courageous steps, not one big leap. This is where people get it wrong. People always think, I have to be able to do this one thing. That no, it's small, 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 small. I told you that I tried to take my life 8 years ago. I didn't just change overnight. I just started doing small, small. I left that, I relocated from another state. I ran away from Lagos to Abuja. When everything went bad and I tried to kill myself, everything was bad. What did I do? I came back to Lagos. That's, this place is not favoring me. I didn't wait. I didn't think of what will people say. They will say, why are you always going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? Are you not stable? I don't think like that. I don't care. I don't care what people say, because people don't care about you. They will just gossip and move on. Their opinions don't pay your bills. Their opinions don't save your life. You are the one that know where it is pinching you, where it is paining you. Hold yourself, hold your life tight, and do what is right for you. So I came back to Lagos. When I came back, I was telling somebody this yesterday. I remember all the money I got then, I had. It was just to rent one small, tiny 2-bedroom for me and my 2 kids. I remember, we didn't have furniture. This was just 8 years ago. No, that was even 7 years ago now. That was in 2018. Yes. Right? Nah, I came back to Lagos 2019. That's 6 years ago. 6. I came back broke, empty, fagged out. 6 years ago. July 2019. This is 6 years after. Look at what has happened. Look at what has happened. The money that I have made in the last 6 years. The joy that I have experienced in the last 6 years. The love I have experienced in the last 6 years. It is not, if I combine everything in the past, it's not up to everything that I've had in 6 years and now. That is what reinvention can do. I even had to change my message before all of that happened to me. Do you know what my message was? Let me help you get married. It is never too late to live happily ever after. When I wanted to reinvent, did you know what I did? I changed it to healing, to therapy. So it is not too late. It is never too late to start over. That's what I used to say. I still say it too once in a while. It is never too late to start over. That's what I changed it to. That's what reinvention is. You don't quit something. You reinvent. You reinvent it. You redirect. You don't give up and say this is the end. You throw in the towel. Which towel are you throwing? Stop throwing towel. Stop it. Do you understand? Reinvent. And this is what I like to help people do, because that's what I have done with myself. That's what I've helped a lot of clients achieve. I remember a lady, I did a session with her last week, and she went through a business loss, financial loss. She told me, it's over 50 million. That just went down the drain. I used to be this powerful woman who spent money anyhow, do anything I wanted. Now, to get money is a problem. So she feels defeated. It was just one session with it. She's like, I think I'm back. I think I'm back. I think I'm back. And I said, you never went anywhere. You're not back. You are still yourself. I just helped you rechannel, you know, your focus and your mind. And now she's like, I can see. Because I was saying, so where do you even see? I cannot see. Lara, I can't see. I don't even know what I want. I don't even know what I see. I don't even know. I'm telling you. But today, you know, she has changed. So if you need help with starting over, reinvention, click the link in my bio or send a DM, book a session with me, a 90-minute session, and they will take it from there. You see, because I always say, it is never too late to start over. Don't let your past overwhelm you. Don't let your past overwhelm you. Don't let the fact that you have always been broke overwhelm you. Don't let the fact that, you had different businesses that crumbled overwhelm you. Don't let the fact that your career, nosedived. Don't let the fact that you lost people, somebody died or some people died. Don't let the fact that terrible things, bad things happen to you. Don't let it overwhelm you. All right. So please click the link in the bio, book a session with me, or send me a DM. And also we have our certification course coming up December 11th to 14th. It's called the Healing Coaching Certification Course. So if you want to learn how to do what I do, we certify people. You will be called the Healing Coach. It's a 4-day program. Yes, and at the end of the 4 days, you will learn a lot of things. You will learn how to heal, how to change people's behavior in 5 to 10 minutes, like I did for that woman last week. How to, you're going to learn a lot of things: hypnotherapy, coaching. What are the rules of coaching? How do I get results in coaching, especially fast results? You're going to learn a lot of that. So I think the link is also in bio. Yes, so click the link or send a DM as regards that. And then you can also join virtually. It's happening live in Lagos for 4 days, December 11th to 14th. But you can also join live. No, you can also join online, rather, on Zoom, wherever you are in the world, and you will also get your certificate. All right. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. God bless you. See you next week, Thursday. I intend to do all my live videos throughout till December, January. It's going to be about reinvention. So get ready for more juicy conversations about how to start again, how to reinvent yourself after a loss, money loss, financial loss, marital loss, relationship loss. So keep a date with me, and every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. So see you next week, Thursday, 8:30 p.m. God bless you. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Good night. You're welcome.